Oh yes, legends. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing great and you've had some great Easter holidays if you do celebrate, or a great weekend. Much love, legends. Let's analyze the situation all together here for the price of Bitcoin. Make sure to smash up that like button if you do enjoy the content. And we're going to take a look here right away at the price of Bitcoin. Let's go. We got a little bit of a rally on Monday today. Very interesting after this boring consolidation that we've had in the last few days, guys. It was actually pretty boring, quite difficult to analyze. Considering the bullish case, the bearish case, overall maintaining into a long in the long position that we did provide inside of the Legends trading community. Okay, inside of the trading community, we did talk about this long, where we were interested naturally in taking some profits on this little bounce, just in case this was the end of a correction, considering this movement to the upside being either a wave 1 or a wave A, which was very, very possible to then claim here above $69,300, which is this high. Now, is this a three-wave structure? Is this coming to its end stages? We're going to form another lower high here from the highs that were created here a couple of weeks ago at $76,000. Do we form a lower high here? Are we getting exhaustion, as we can see on the price action throughout the last few hours? And this is the moment where the price gets that rollover. We'll be analyzing that in today's live stream, guys. We are coming into some interesting resistance levels. Okay, there is a bigger resistance. Naturally, that is the value area high of this entire range. That is just about $1,500, not even that, just over $1,000. Okay, above us, value area high, very important. Do we get the choppiness into the value area high and then reverse? We'll be discussing the lower time frame, guys. Is this a three-wave corrective structure to turn around, or is it more bullish than we think? We're forming multiple 1-2s here on the higher time frame to snap out. We'll be discussing that with the levels, with the waves. Stay tuned. The levels that I'm looking at for a possible setup, okay, either a short or a long. Of course, this content is for educational purposes only, guys, and is not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. Quick hello to the absolute legends here in the live stream today, and we'll crack down here with a few scenarios. Okay, much love to everybody. Thanks for joining today's stream. Let's say a quick hello. Will, how are you doing? Yo, what's up, fam? How are you doing, my man? Sup, legend? Daniel, much love to you. Hello, Mr. Andy. Hope all is well. A trader, thanks for joining the stream. Much appreciated. Smash up the like button. Make a comment after the stream if you want to continue seeing me here. If you don't smash it. I won't be here very, very long. Probably not in the near future. Okay, if I don't see any likes, any people enjoying the education and the possible setups, the way that I analyze the markets using Elliott Wave and levels. So it's important for me, guys, that I do see some support, because if there's no support, then why bother, right? Why continue? Trader G, good afternoon. Much love. Guess who? Andy or Sensei, guess who? Much love to you. Shanyayan, Andy the legend. We want some Elliott Wave analysis. That is coming up right away. Afternoon, Andy. Let's go. Wayne, thanks for joining. And noon, much love. Balakun, how are you doing, my brother? Masoud, Andy, we need you. Please, in simple way, long or short. Shorts are looking more attractive. However, we are still uptrending. You know where I'm long and where I'm short, right? You know where I'm short and where I'm long. Okay. This long was provided last week inside of the trading community. It was important to maintain still some of this long. Okay. This was a very, very good long decision, because with the analysis that we had, okay, when we get into a topping zone, this is the kind of price action that I like to see. A little bit of exhaustion, right? This is where it looks interesting into resistance to consider either fib extensions. Devil already talked about a trading short position on a fib extension, which is, already locking profits. I mean, Devil is an absolute legend with the fib extensions. He literally provided a short trade today. Okay, he was talking about the analysis early this morning about a short trade to be taken at one of these fib extensions, realizing, of course, that we could be coming here to the end of the impulse, right? We're looking for that last wick to the upside after high volume move to the upside. One more high to come on and hit the 1.618, just slightly above $70,000. Take into consideration either this level or this level to take that possible short, right? And he's providing, of course, that short entry. Very, very nice indeed. Okay, I was talking about the profits from last week's trade. Devil with the short right there at the 70k level, as he suggested today, inside of the trading community, guys. If you're not in already, I'm not sure what you are waiting for, because we are banging. Of course, I'm still maintaining that long trade from last week. If you are interested in joining, send me the word access, guys. You can get a few months for free if you sign up throughout one of the affiliate links. Bluffing, 2bit, they're all great exchanges. You get the best bonuses available, and we get you a few months for free inside of the trading community, such as myself and Devil. We are analyzing the market and where we could find the best levels, of course, for our own setups. That is, I suggested, of course, after taking out these highs right over here, that taking a bit of more profits makes sense from the long position that was taken here last week, okay, at the 65,900. Take profit one was hit here. We take these highs, that is naturally a take profit two. And very, very happy with holding that position throughout the week, because that's made some extra profits, right? We don't need to trade every single movement, right? When we know the projection, I know these highs can be taken, right? I know there is a chance that this could be a wave one, a wave two, and we start another wave 1 and 2 and break out, or a wave 1, 2, 3, we blast off, or an ABC, we take out the highs and then we reject down. This is what we're going to talk about. So I naturally understand that a higher low here to take out these highs is very, very much a possibility. And that was the main idea of the trade of last week. We need to hit a TP1, okay, which, the main idea here was getting above the wave 4, the internal wave 4 potential here. TP1 on that movement, on that long trade. I'm going to leave some open, because potentially we form a couple of 1-2s and we break in a wave 3, right? Which is basically what we are seeing here throughout the last few days. So I'm in no new trade. This is basically the only main trade that I did take on my day trading account, on my swing trading account, because I do know that, man, if price were to rally to 72, 73, I'm literally going to get stopped out from my swing short position, and I want to be positioned on the long side as well, understanding that what if this is more bullish than we think, guys, right? We do know that we have that diagonal to the upside, which is not great, but this is all trading the possibilities, right? I don't like this diagonal. I don't like it. I am more bearish. I'm more bearish. However, I'm heavier in the long position at the moment. But it's all about understanding the possibilities. I trade possibilities, not something certain, because I don't know what's going to happen. But I know that this could be a leading diagonal. It's not very common. I know we've had a pretty nice steep ABC potential to the downside. And of course, I missed this long opportunity. I didn't catch this wick, even though it was a trading plan from the previous Friday on stream. We did talk about that SFP from this low. I didn't get into this trade, so I got into this trade. And I realized a 1-2 or an ABC or a 1-2-3, right? Or 1-2-1-2, bang, right? We just end up going higher in the next coming days. Then I understand the structure, A, B, and C, 1, 2, 3 on the higher time frame. So this is more a bit of a day trade to swing trade execution that we did have last week. But anyway, nobody cares about that, right? Talk about new stuff, a new trade. Like I said, I've got into no new trade in the last 5 days. This is literally the trade that was taken. No new trades have been taken since that low here at 65.9k. that was formed last Thursday. No new trades. So these are the current trade positions that I'm in currently, and I'm going to discuss a little bit of, what I would like to see here to consider a short trade, okay? Because I missed the fib extension that Devil suggested today, but that's giving a little bit of action inside of the trading community, of course. That they are happy to see a little bit of action, of course, not only boring swing trades. So we are going to talk about that right away, okay? Let's do a recap, very importantly, of the bullish case and the bearish case, considering the 4 hourly and 1 hourly time frame. Super important, guys. I prefer the bearish case. I have to say, I prefer that there is a corrective structure finished here, and for the moment right now, the multiple 1-2s still are okay, even though this wave 2 is getting a little bit longer than this wave 2 at the moment, so that is not helping with the probabilities. But this is why we want to be long from the lows. Basically, if you're not long from here, long from here, getting into a long in this zone throughout the weekend, a little bit complex, I would have to say. Not really interested in any new setups here. But now that we got the push with high volume, and we do have the possibility of a 3-wave structure coming to its end stages, okay, because we have high volume in the middle from today's pump, right, or late last night or early this morning, this is the moment of exhaustion, right? This could bring an opportunity, of course, to get into a movement to the downside. I like this scenario. I like a possible short in this zone. I would like to see the highs being claimed again. So I want to explain a little bit what I would like to see, of course. What I would like to see doesn't mean it is something that needs to happen. But it's, now the overall decision of the bulls and bears is this a 3-wave corrective structure, and we end up going higher in the next coming days and weeks after pullbacks, right, potentially? Or is this a multiple 1-2? That would be ideal, of course, being your invalidation here. Basically the highs, right, for that multiple 1-2. So this is, a zone where, which is looks interesting for the bears, right? They want to reject here at the golden pocket 7-8 Fibonacci zone. We are currently trading above the golden pocket, so we've got a bit of a gap right there. There's a little bit of more resistance coming into the 7-8 Fibonacci, which is kind of in confluence with the value area high of this entire range, more heading up to the 0.88. That would be a little bit of a critical zone if we want to consider another wave 2, because wave 2s hitting the 0.88 is not very, very common, really. Okay, so this is like the zone of rejection that we want to talk about right away. So internal double tops could be something interesting. We'll talk about the major level of resistance, of course, where I would want to see that rejection. Basically, I'm going to wait for that level, because the price internally here is still pretty much bullish. We are still maintaining that bullish momentum to the upside, right? Big volume candle here that was created early this morning. We got a higher volume candle, which is disturbing with this movement to the upside. So the overall question here, right? How many 1-2s do we have in this zone, right? Because last week and even throughout the last few days, I'm very much aware that we have a low, we have a high, and we have a low. There's several ways of counting this. You have a diagonal, okay, for your wave 1 or your wave A, and you got your sharp 3-wave corrective structure, or you have your wave 1 or A being this pivot right over here, and then here you have a complex WXY that not everybody likes. So I'm aware that this could be the high and this could be the low, right? Or this high and this low. It doesn't matter, whatever correction this is. And of course you have an AB or a 1-2. So now it's all about understanding, the movement up from this pivot, which is making it not easy. The worst moments to do technical analysis is when you have bank holidays or you have general holidays and the market's relatively slow for 4 or 5 days, and it creates a complex structure, okay, especially for the people that use Elliott Wave analysis. It's just a very complex, choppy range to consider, where you can, in this case, in the bullish case scenario, we can count a few 1-2s, okay. Literally, this movement to the upside would be your first wave 1, okay. You can fit in a running flat here. Your wave A of the running flat is already in itself a complex WXY, where you have a zigzag down, zigzag up, and a flat. It's just absolutely horrible. Where you would consider this a wave A, 3-wave, wave B that takes out the highs, and then the impulse down to form the running flat. Not price action that I enjoy, okay, with the holidays, right? Just very complex, rangy structure. So regardless, now it's all about how many times are we going to hit the highs, right? How many times do we hit the highs before getting the pullback? I mean, if you are a chilled out trader and you want to make a 1-to-1, 2-to-1 risk to reward, then of course you either consider the short trade with stop loss above the highs for that 1-2, right, and then move down in the next coming days, or you actually wait. If you're more of a sniper, you're more of a day trader that wants to get a good position, you kind of need to wait for the best zones of resistance, okay. Devilled has been an absolute machine today. While he was analyzing the price action inside of the trading community, a short was taken already. Nice little scalp, okay. However, still maintaining in that position, covering fees. That position is entered, as he suggested here, at the 1.618 extension at $70,000. And very, very good execution, and that's how we like to do it inside of the trading community. Devil's an absolute machine for these kind of setups and levels, okay. And if you would have asked, I didn't get into this short, would I enter a short right now? I'm going to say I preferably would not. I'm not going to enter a short position in this zone. We need to come back up to hit the highs and hit a major zone of resistance above this zone, so I have an opportunity to consider the short entry again. Devil will be getting stopped out here at break even after taking some profits. I mean, if we were to form a lower high, which this is super choppy, no major bearish CVD divergence, no CVD is not helping us here very much. There is a little bit of local bullish CVD divergence, no major bearish ones with the new information. So it's just it's a bit of a messy structure here throughout the last few hours. If you were to say to me, is this going to form a lower high and move to lower prices, or is it actually going to scale up here and take out the highs? I would say I really don't know. I really don't know. This is not a zone that I like to trade. I need the price to come into major resistance levels. So that said, when I do analyze the chart here, I realize that we could have a 1-2 and a few 1-2s here, where you have a wave 3, 4, and 5. So having this larger 1-2, two 1-2s here, we only have 1, 4, 5. I would prefer to see at least one more 4, 5 in this zone to either complete an ABC, all right? And if it is going to be a larger 4 and 5 for an impulse, then that's another thing. But could we consider the low being here and having a 5-wave move already in with this spike of volume? I mean, as Devilled entered this incredible execution, I have to give kudos today to Devilled, because his execution was absolutely spot on based on a 1.618 extension, which was absolutely incredible, I have to say, right? This fib extension was taken on the possibility of this being a wave A, a B, and a C right over here. And I have to say that really absolutely banging execution here from Devil inside of the trading community, which he already suggested. that possibility, A, B, with this low, of course, and you know, looking at the 1.618 extension on that possible move, which, you know, these are sniper trades, okay, where, you know, unless you get into the short at the level, I'm not a fan of getting in a uptrend momentum where the movements down can be corrective. We need a bit more information here to understand if this is corrective or not. But yeah, I would prefer wanting to get into a short on a major level of resistance, which I will explain right away on stream. However, you know, where we are at the moment, I would really be sitting on my hands. The moment that I would understand that this is a correction is when you got first move down, little bit of choppy bounce, and then you get the movement down here that fails to break to lower prices and gets a pretty nice bounce, right, to claim these lower highs. That's the moment that this correction becomes very, very interesting to join the long position. We're going to talk about some, you know, SFP longs and SFP shorts, mainly for the people that are waiting today to get into that possible trading setup. Myself, basically, levels that I would be interested today. Okay, so the overall question at this moment, is this a three-wave corrective structure, which means you're looking for the price to top out soon, regardless if the high is in already, or we create one more high into bigger resistance levels and then roll that over very aggressively, right? This would be the bearish case scenario. Bullish case scenario is forming a corrective structure on the rejection, which ends up breaking out in the next coming days. I am looking for a pullback at this moment. I am looking for the price to naturally retrace with the information that is given on the chart, right? We're coming to the potential last stages of this movement to the upside, and I need a plan, I need a level, I need an execution plan, okay? Which we might get on stream, right? We might get on stream. On the lower time frame, I want those highs to be claimed again. I would prefer those highs to be claimed again. And it all has to do with, you know, where we finished here, right? For me, I like to see this as an impulsive move to the upside. This is just, I mean, this has been the holidays, right, of the last few days. Extremely rangy, choppy price action. You can't start an impulse from here because you got like a three-wave. You can't start an impulse from here either. So all of this is a combination of a large correction from the last few days, right, that we've had holidays. So I like to see this as a wave 1, wave 2, or a wave A, wave B, and it starts from here. If it were to start from here, then yeah, you have a completed 5-wave structure. This is why you would say maybe this has finished, okay, and that was the high. If it started from here naturally, then you have a double 1-2. It's a little bit noisy here, I have to say, a little bit noisy, but I would prefer at least one more push up before the pullback based on this structure, which is super important to understand the possibilities of another leg up, right? Because, you know, maybe some people wanted to short here, maybe some people are shorting here, and right, and then it just takes out the highs, and you know, if you're happy to get stopped out, or you know, depending on your strategy, of course, right? I would not want to have a short position open if the price is already going against me in an uptrend. I understand that this is an exhausting zone, but I want to get into a good level where I can manage my risk very, very well, such as Devil's short trade here inside of the trading community at 70k basically plus, right? So levels that are interesting, right? Which when we do take a look at the session volume profile on the 1 hour time frame to consider, you know, major levels of resistance that we do have above us, no major naked point of control. We do have a daily level, which is, it is a little bit high, I have to say, I'm not sure if we will manage to reach that daily level after claiming the local highs. I already consider this pivot high, not this one, based on the possible multiple 1-2s, but as we have a couple of 1-2s here, 4, 5, another 4 and 5, I would already consider this pivot high as an SFP entry. A double top, basically. So now the overall question is, do we double top here locally, or do we push through with a bit of volume and get to bigger levels of resistance? This is what I'm going to use as my guideline to execute this trade, okay? Which I want to explain very, very carefully. So a double top here for me is valid, right? If you ask me why is it valid, because from this movement, right, if we are considering a 3-wave move up, it literally starts from this zone right over here, and a couple of 1-2s, the big volume breakout, which we did have earlier this morning. There's slightly a little bit of more volume here, which is not great. You want to see volume decreasing, not increasing, as you do create some higher highs. You want volume decreasing, and that's not something that I like to see. So I want to be cautious here on, any shorts, right, fighting this uptrend momentum that we've developed in the last few days, right? It's like, we don't want to try and short every single time, right? We want to be very, very technical and have very, very good execution and risk management on what we need to see to get into that trade and be very, very defensive. This is, catching the highs or the lows is absolutely great, but you need to know how to do it, right? Because people that try to catch the lows, right, you can get burnt like that, right? You're trying to catch the low on a long trade, and you attempted 20 times, and then the last one is the one that's going to succeed. I only had 2 long setups last week, only 2. There's no, it's in the trading community, by the way, there's no sugarcoating. It's either this one or it's either this one. Okay, there was one here that failed. Okay, but this is very good risk management. We're saying, guys, we're not double bottoming here. Even trading below $100, guys, we did not SFP. This is no longer a long position, right? If you did get in, it's a quick cut loss, and then the next one was this one. And throughout the last few days, I had no other long position, even in this downtrend, right? We're waiting for the price to get the volume out, right, form a little bit of a range, and then we have our levels and our scenarios to get into the long. So only longs this zone and this zone right over here, which we did have. There's 2 attempts here, but the risk management was very, very, very good. Just in case you're like, hey, this guy's trying and catch the short, right, try and catch the highs, and he's gonna have too many attempts and he's gonna burn his account. I can show you the track record, guys. There's no problem on that. Let me know if you want to see the P&L of last month or the last 90 days, right? And you will see that there's not many attempts. So anyway, going back through the major levels, okay, that I would consider here. A double top locally is an option. I would consider this already a valid option. SFP from the highs would be a valid option, okay? And if we do stretch our legs a little bit more, it is true that we don't have much above this level. Of course, we do have the value area high of the trading range, which is coming into slightly below that daily level. And of course, this zone right over here, this consolidation, this would be the sweet spot after taking out those highs. If we don't double top here locally, the sweet spot is this consolidation, which of course is providing, that high volume node where we have the value area high. This is $70,900. If we break above the current highs, the next major level would be 70,900, which is a point of control and the value area high. Okay, So I'll just put this as point of control and value area high of range. This level is important. Daily level is slightly above us, but we don't really want to go that high because that would already be hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci for that wave 2. Yeah, the best confluence area, if we were to break those highs, you can always consider the 7.8 Fibonacci. 7.8 could be interesting for that local double top. That's taking the last pivot lower high to the last pivot low. It's either an execution here or an execution at the 7.8 or an execution at the point of control and value area high. One of them, and this is when you're looking at the 1 minute to 5 minute time frame, if the price moves up here, breaks above the level, you maintain above the level on the lower time frames, 1 to 5 minute, and you continue that momentum with increasing volume, then there's nothing to do here. There's no short to be taken, right? If you're breaking through these major levels, I need to sit on my hands, right? And if we do have that boom breakout with a bit of volume, little consolidation, you're looking for a little bit of a 5-wave mover here to the upside into this zone of resistance, right? Which is, I mean, look no further. It's the point of control of this little range that we had a couple of weeks ago and the value area high of the entire trading range. And this is just for an execution trade for the rollover, basically. I would be happy already to attempt a double top. If we get that push and a little bit of a nasty wick here, 7.8 Fibonacci might be touched from this high to the low. And it just boom, right? And it gets a big rejection. Entry, stop loss, move down. We can protect position, pay some, you know, get a little bit of profits for the fees. And obviously look for the bigger rejection to follow if that were to be the case, right? In the next coming days, because there is still that potential of this being multiple 1-2s, right? And it's, you know, it's not being, you know, extremely right on this is going to happen, right? It's going to happen, right? I see some guys on YouTube that are just only bearish or only bullish. There's one that's actually, you know, getting some pretty good attention that is only bearish, right? Only bearish. And I'm like, you know, what about the bullish case, right? What about the bullish case? Which I understood last week, you know, this being a 3-wave ABC and this being a 1-2 or an AB, it's like, yeah, I'm interested in getting into the long on this pullback here because we had very good support. And with the structure, we understood that it could be an ABC, right? Back up, or a 1, 2, 3. You know, inside of a trading community, we obviously consider those scenarios, right? Not only bearish, but what if the price is actually, you know, bullish? With the price action that we had in the last week, wave 1 here, WXY for your wave 2 or B, and then all of this is, you know, stacked 1-2s, and, you know, we end up breaking here to the upside, right? Or this was another count as well, a diagonal, okay, leading diagonal, wave 1 or 8. Very steep ABC, and then this is bullish, right? Naturally, if this is a 1 or an A, you're looking for these highs to be taken. So we obviously consider the bullish case very much. This is why maintaining some of that long position was definitely an option last week, understanding that, you know, we could be looking at this developing, right, from that long. So I don't want to get into a long position here because the level 2 long was last week down here on the pullback into levels of resistance. This was a little bit confusing, I have to say. This could have been a 3-wave correction, move down. You know, I really do not want to participate in this zone, even though, you know, you had a few 1-2s scenarios, few multiple 1-2s, clear invalidation. Sorry, a 1-2 and a 1, you know, couple of 1-2s here clear invalidation for that. And if anybody wanted to attempt a long here, which is, you know, with this staircase to the upside and this movement down, you know, not a fan of getting into a position in this zone. Not easy for the decision. So best zones, I have to say, at the moment, you know, where I will be attempting a new trade today, if the market wants to get up to hit the highs, I have my strategy pretty damn clear. You know, I'm looking for a rejection at this zone, take out the highs, or if it does take out the highs, next level is the 7-8. If that doesn't get a reaction, we break it, we go to higher prices, we look at 70,900, which is the best confluence zone. Okay, 70,900 is the best confluence zone. Just checking the got a bit of a 4-hour order block. 4-hour. No, yeah, there has to be, or maybe a 6-hour. 4-hour, 6-hour order block. Yeah, I mean, you got that consolidation right there, a little bit of an order block. That's coming into 70,900. You know, this is actually the best zone of confluence. That is if we do break out the highs and continue to the upside. Okay, this would be the rejection point where I would be looking to execute that trade, because there is still a possibility for this to be bearish. Of course, in the most bearish case scenario, which is a 1, 2, 1 and 2, and then, you know, you end up rolling down in a wave 3. The only execution levels I have is eventually a double top. Okay, it's starting to look like good for a double top. And as explained, the main reason why not every single top is a good double top, or every single bottom is a good double bottom. When it looks interesting for a double bottom is when you've already gotten the big volatile move with high volume. Then depending on the 1-2s, naturally, the double triple tops look interesting to get into a trade. Just like here, right, where you have the volatile move happened here, right? This was choppy, right? A little bit of move down, bounces. Then this was the most volatile move that we had last week, right? Big movement down of a few $1,000s. Then the bounce. Double bottom then looks interesting because the big move already happened. In this case, the big move happened here. So the double triple tops, you know, into resistance, considering the couple of 1-2s, right? When you have 2 1-2s, when you scale up like this, the first double top, yeah, you can execute it. You should be out from now on. But then, you know, the other one, the triple top, looks interesting because the main reason is you got 2 1-2s, you're looking for 2 4-5s, and it's the last wave 5 that you're interested in getting into the short. So naturally here, right, what do we have with this range? You know, you have a couple of 1-2s. You have the 3, you have 1 4 5. You only have one correction after the big move up, and you have a little bit of a, you know, a couple of 1-2s here in this case. So what I would like to see is another 4-5, preferably for me for the execution. 4-5, boom, 4-5. Do we double top? It's an execution trade, or do we stretch our legs into the next major level, which is that point of control value area high at $70,900? So these two levels are my main guidelines, and I would consider the 7-8 Fibonacci from the higher time frame, of course, right, from that lower high right over here to the low. I would consider that 7-8, which kind of makes sense based on a local double top here, because as you take those highs, you know, you might stretch your legs here, a couple of $100, hit the 7-8 Fibonacci, and then get the pullback. So these are the levels where I would consider this short, and we might get one here on stream. I'm just going to remain a little bit patient here to see if we do stretch our legs here in the next coming minutes or next 30 minutes. But it is an option, of course. Double top 7-8 Fibonacci, which is slightly above the highs, and the biggest confluence zone, of course, as resistance, which is naturally that point of control of this range that we had last week, 2 weeks ago that is, and the value area high of the trading zone here, right, which is in that area. Okay, so that's a little bit of what I'm looking for. No rush. We are patient. The main reason why that this is valid is because this can be a three-wave corrective structure. It can be a three-wave corrective structure. And because of this reason, I understand the push to the upside that has had the biggest mover early this morning, and usually what happens next is the exhaustion right after the big move. Okay, just breaking down a little bit of that explanation here, and it's super important, guys. You know, these levels are used as guidelines. If we break out and volume, you know, it just increases, right, and it just continues moving to higher prices, not rejecting at any level, then you let it go. You just let it go, right? It's just not rejecting from this high. It's not rejecting from the point of control or the value area high of the range, and it's getting above the level, so you just let it go, right? Then the conclusion there would be that the wave 3 is not even, you know, halfway through, right? The wave 3 is still getting, if we get a breakout with volume here, I need to understand that the wave 3 is still getting developed. It's just still getting developed if we get that high volume increase breaking the levels of resistance. Okay, so this is why when we consider this is massive confluence, we're gonna form a lower high, you know, no matter what. The news is bearish, right? How can we go to higher prices? All of this speculation, I am tired and sick of seeing so much speculation, you know, on we going lower or we going higher, right? Trade the damn levels. You need to trade the damn levels, right? But anyway, what can we do, right? What can we do? We are traders. We are traders. We trade the levels. We trade the scenarios. I'm more interested, as you know, I'm not much of a scalper these last few years. I'm more of a day trade to swing trader. And this is why, you know, I did see the potential of this long. You know, it's a day trade execution, but it could turn into swing trade, you know, and take out these highs. It did take a few days to get this move up of $5,000. And I understand that that could happen from here. From this movement down, based on the information that is given here, I understand that this is possible. So I'm interested in longs down here. Naturally, I understand that this is possible, or at least this, you know, regardless if it's a 1-2-1-2 and then we move higher later on. So yeah, this is becoming a nice zone to get ready, have a plan, right? Good risk management, good execution. If you're feeling a little bit emotional, you're probably risking too much. Lower your risk. When you lower your risk, you know, for something that what you can afford to lose, of course, you become a better trader. So yeah, that's a little bit of what I'm looking for here. Let's see if we do get that push to the upside. Any internal longs to take out the highs. Naturally, where we are at the moment, I would not be that interested, me personally. When we got this retracement here for that long, we literally had a resistance support flip, right? All of these highs, you know, these are trades that I don't particularly enjoy very much, but it is a resistance support flip. You know, it depends on your strategy. I have different strategies. Some people have a basic resistance support flip strategy, which is what is happening here throughout the last few hours. Value area high, level of resistance, proven resistance that is just flipping into support. I have an issue with stop loss here. You know, stop loss, you know, potentially beneath that point of control. Give it a bit of room. If you asked me, you know, would I enter the long here? Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, if you have your point of control as support, if I am looking for another 4-5, and you know, a 4, when you have a couple of 1-2s and a wave 3 and a 4 and a 5, and you're looking for another 4-5, what is true is that your second wave 4 usually forms a higher low. Usually forms a higher low from your first wave 4 and 5. So, you know, you literally don't want to see the price coming down here into this low if you're going to form another 4-5. So when you consider local level of support, I mean, this was kind of valid, I would say, for a long stop loss beneath the point of control, get a bit of support there, and obviously aiming for the highs. As I, you know, say that I missed this long position, then I understand that this is exhaustion zone, right? You know, I am looking for either the double top, or I'm going to say the 7-8, because you might just try and push through here and then create a double top. However, you push a few $100s and it gets rejected. Where that rejection can happen naturally is the 7-8 Fibonacci from the last lower high on the 1 hourly, right, which is a couple of $100 above the recent high. The 7-8 could be interesting at 70,481. That could be an interesting level for a snipe right there. And this snipe makes sense because of the possibility of the exhaustion coming up here into this zone. So we're going to have to see. We'll probably get that level hit or a local double top here on stream. Okay. So let's remain patient. Any other long position, if we do get a pullback here, I would not be interested in any new long positions here. This one would have been a cheeky one, but valid based on a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5. It would have been a cheeky one. But if the price takes the high and we form that kind of double top rejection, you just fail to break out the local highs, I wouldn't consider any quick long position, because the two reasons why. One is you have an impulse correction. Impulse correction. You would want to see a larger corrective move here naturally happening for a new long, because you could have something completed here with the next move to the upside, right? So a bigger pullback is. There's no quick long on shallow pullbacks for me, at least in this zone. Once we take out the highs, you know, it's going to be for me an impossible long position to take. Anyway, let's see if we do push through to hit those highs. I mean, this is a lot of the times a big bummer right there, where you form a lower high, couple of $100 away from hitting the highs here, and it rolls over. Sometimes it is what it is, but it's a trade that I would not execute personally if we do not have insane bearish CVD divergence, and that is not the case, because on Bybit there's actually a lot of shorts entering the market. Bit of a decreasing open interest, but shorts are entering here on Bybit, closing positions potentially with open interest going down, but we've got 4.8 million here from shorts, which is naturally going to give possibly that push to the upside here. So it's not a level where I usually short. There's no way if it forms a lower high from there and rolls over, it's a movement that I don't trade. I don't trade this kind of movement, considering that, you know, we are uptrending, right? We are uptrending. We're taking out the highs, understanding Elliott Wave theory, 1212, right? 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 makes sense here to take out the local highs again. Okay, let's get those fib levels ready, and let's see if we do have a quick possible execution. I want to take a look at some extensions here as well, from low to high to low. 1-to-1 was hit as well, depending on how do you, I mean, there's several ways of counting this. It's just been such a messy range, I have to say, the last few days, because you can consider the high being here and you have a complex WXY, or you can consider the high being here with a leading diagonal. So the extensions can be a little bit tricky, of course, but from the low to the high to the low, 1-to-1 did get the rejection of about $1,000 just in a few hours ago. Devil did trade that fib extension. It was a 1.618, however, taken differently on a sideways WXY. Yeah, extension is not going to help too much at the moment. So I'm relying on Fibonacci retracement, double top, or point of control. Those are the only 3 levels that I can rely on right now, of one of them getting a rejection, right? So it's all about the execution. You know, we don't know what's going to happen, but we will know what could happen, right? And how does it happen is when you know how to enter the trade, where to put your stop loss, how much are you risking, are you happy to get stopped out in that position, and the projection, of course. And I know that this pullback, regardless if it's one high and you form a correction and then another double top, that's if you do have a wave 4, larger wave 4, of course, because all of this could still be a wave 3. But I understand that the pullback can get at least to the 382 Fibonacci from this low to the high. So, you know, at least you're looking at $1,000 of a pullback here, even a little bit more, 1,500 on a possible rejection of one of these levels. So let's see. Let's go through the comment section. I'll set an alert here at the highs on the other exchange, and I'll go through the comment section right away and say hello to the beautiful community. Much love, guys. I mean, because I'm more of a day trader swing, this would be the only main setup that I would be looking for at the moment. Okay, one of these levels, and I'm more interested in the pullback. Okay, for longs, last couple of days, longs, you know, not a fan here of longing this, because it could be something corrective. You could have had a wave 4 still on the formation and take out the lows, right? This zone was not a zone that I was very interested. However, executing the long down here is where I entered inside of the trading community. Okay, this trade was provided last week inside of the trading community. Okay, we were ready for that possibility. This was literally the plan, the execution to claim this low, you know, if this were to be an ABC, right? But this is a long setup that we were looking for inside of the trading community. You know, 2 major levels to get that bounce. TP1 area, right? There's only a TP1 because this could actually be the low based on this analysis, right? If we're looking at this could be a wave 1, wave A, wave 2, wave B. Any longs that are taken here is a day trade that can convert into a swing trade, which is, you know, I get stopped out many times from a major position that I haven't taken. You might say, oh, you left so much profits on the table. it happens, right? I could have got stopped out at break even from that long position that was executed last week. But if I did not leave a significant portion open, in this case I did leave about 50% in this one. Also on the swing trade account, I did leave a significant chunk here open, understanding that this has very good potential for the coming days to take those highs, because we are labeling with the analysis this a wave A or a wave 1 and this a wave 2 or a wave B. Very, very, very possible, and I want to get into that higher low. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely worth holding some of that position to maximize potential profits, right, from this push up, right, that we've had in the last 24 hours. Anyway, let's go through comment section. Much love to everybody. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for smashing up the like button. Please remember, if you do enjoy the content, to smash up that like, and also leave a comment after the stream. Not many comments after the stream. People just don't want to interact. Leave me your opinion, leave me whatever in the comment section, and help out the channel a little bit if you do want to continue seeing me here providing the analysis, the setups, how I trade, how Devil trades, and give a little bit of support, of course. Though I'm still wet behind the ears when it comes to trading, you're very thorough with your setup and thoughts. Gratitude, thank you. Tommy, you're very welcome. Thanks for the kind comment. Bro, analyze 72.8 liquidity and probabilities. Yeah, that's another thing about the liquidity. We do have significant liquidity to the upside above 72k. We still have that, plenty of liquidity to the upside, especially 72k plus, which is naturally those highs that we do have right over here. But if we were to go up there, I would say that first you're going to get a pullback in this zone. If you ask me, do we push up straight away from here, or do we fail in this zone, get a pullback, and then push up in the next coming days? I would say this has higher probability than going straight up today, right, to hit plus 72k. And it's just because of the structure, just of the information that we have. It is more common with this information for the price to start getting exhausted here with those double triple tops, right, based on the 4-5s. It's just more common to get that pullback, regardless if we go up there later on. It doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, that's good. I would say that we're looking for multiple 1-2s here to be developed if we're going to take out 72k plus, and that a pullback first would be the most common thing based on how the price has moved up there, right, in the last few days, because of the wave 3, right, the biggest move up here, and you're looking for that 4-5 situation into resistance to get the pullback. It's just the most common way on how the price moves, which is giving us this potential short setup, either at a double top for the last 4-5. If it breaks the local high, I would give a chance to the 7-8, even though it's not that, it's not great confluence. It's just a fib retracement, but it can work without a doubt. It just might stretch to the 7-8 after taking the local highs. And if there's no reaction there where you can execute the trade and manage your risk. Manage risk means, stop loss above the high of the wick. Once you tap the level, right? Once you get slightly above the level and you reject, that's your entry. Your stop loss is very, very small. And once the price rejects with a little bit of power, you're already making a 2-3 to 1 risk reward. Then that's where you collect a bit of profits, protect position, leave a bit open. And that's how we do it. There's no secret. There's no secret. Same long trade that was executed here. We talk about the risk management. We talk about how to execute it. How we have a TP1. TP1 is literally, you decide, right, TP1 is a TP1. You want to get 20% out, you get 20%. You want to get 50% out, which was my case, you get 50% out. You want to leave 50% open, or 60, to maybe claim these highs in the coming days, right? And you know, it really depends on, you know, on each one of you, of course, how much you want to TP. Right, comment section right away, and let's see if the price does want to push up here to claim those highs for that trade execution. And now it's about waiting, setting some alerts if you're going to go out and do whatever, right? Sometimes I trade from the phone because I get an alert on my mobile, I get a message, or I get an email, and I have, you know, it rings, and then I know, you know, what I'm looking for, what level exactly I'm looking for the rejection. Sometimes trading on the phone is okay if you've already done your analysis and you know what you're waiting for, right? Anyway, let's go. Comment section time it is. Bybit bros shorting like crazy. Yes, they are. They are trying to short. There is some significant shorts entering right now. They might have a chance in pushing the price down. 10 million shorts right now in the last 30 minutes, all the way up here, just below 70k. They are trying to short here with a lower high to push the price down. So big bullish CVD divergence at the moment. They are not making a great job, to be honest, because with 10 million shorts entering right now up here, if they only manage to move the price a few $100s, not even that, they are screwed. There's more buying pressure coming in. They could be very much screwed. Lots of shorts entering here on Bybit, creating these insane bullish CVDs. They're not doing a great job of pushing the price down. That's something that we can see. Not doing a great job here, the Bybit bros. Right, Trump speaking at top of hour in 55 minutes. Probably the volatility needed. Very possible. Very possible. Alec, much love to you. Vincent, I'm short 69.2 while I'm well protected. Do you think I should add more at 71.72? Well, this is all about you know, it just depends on your strategy, right? You know, your question right now, I'm short from 69.2, right? And you know, do I add more to my shorts on the push up? It's, you know, I cannot help you here. I'm sorry, because I mean, this is not my way of trading. I just don't trade like that. If you're happy with the risk tolerance that you have, you know, I'm fine with adding to a position if it's still inside of the 3% risk, right? Max risk of your account. So you can enter a short with 1% risk here, right? If your stop loss is at 1% at 72k, if we push up to 71k, I can risk another 1% to enter that short. If your stop loss is 2%, right? Wherever it is, maybe above these highs. I mean, yeah, putting a stop loss here is really asking it, right? That's where we have a lot of liquidity. So, you know, you know how I like to trade, guys. You know how, and for me, that's the way that I figured out to have consistent profits. I haven't figured out any other way. Trade the levels, trade the reactions based on the information that you have. So double top is valid for me here. I would attempt it. We're probably coming into that level. Let's check how the price reacts, of course. And if not the 7-8, I would say it is valid as well. The question is, if this is going to be a wave 5 formation, another 4 in 5, the overall question is, if you have a couple of 1-2s, you got a third wave, a 4-5, and you're expecting another 4-5, how far can that last 5 go to? because it might be an extended wave 5. It might be an extended wave 5. So where can it reject? It can either double top locally, which is common for when you're creating a 245s. You look at a major fib level, 7.8, 70,445. And if none of these levels get a reaction, then naturally, the biggest confluence zone that we do have is the value area high of this entire range, which is with that point of control, right? From this mini range over here, where there's a 6-hour order block as well. 70,900 would be the most attractive zone if we break these highs, right? And the 7.8. In the coming days, and we will provide this inside of the trading community, because the pullback that we do get from this zone, right? Bearish case is like rolling over extremely hard, right? You get a 1, 2, and then boom, right? And it just absolutely nukes. You start sweeping up these higher lows, which is very much a possibility, right? However, this would take a few days to develop naturally. If we do this and we start forming this kind of price action in the next few days, we are definitely going to consider the 1, 2, and blast off, right, coming into next week potentially. If we start ranging in the next few days, we will detect this. We are very good in detecting the possibilities and the opportunities, and naturally this will be then if somebody asked me about adding to the short, I mean, if we are going to form a corrective structure from here, I would say we are playing with fire here, because this could be a double 1, 2, and after a double 1, 2, you expect a huge breakout in a wave 3 at some stage. So it's all about the rejection. If the rejection is going to be choppy and corrective looking, a bull flag if you wish, I would not be in a short position anywhere in this zone. If we form this kind of price action, I will be out faster than you know about it. Very, very quick. There's no way I would want to be in a short if we form a corrective looking, movement to the downside, right? 3-wave down, overlap from the last lower high, and so yeah, we would have to see that. In the trading community, we do follow up on the structures, on the setups. If you are interested, I'm not sure what you're waiting for, guys. Send me the word access. If you want to join, get a few months for free. Sign up with either Bluffin, 2bit, and you get a few months for free, guys. Okay, minimum deposit just for your own trading. That's where I shared my setup. This long setup was shared over here. I'm still $6,000 in profit here from that long trade that was taken last week. Profits were taken already on the local push as a day trade. It's turned into a swing trade, and also in the swing trade account, of course, as well, still in that position. I told you last week, I'm going to give the bulls a chance. I'm giving the bulls locally a chance. And even though you might see a lot of people that are very, very bearish and long oil and short Bitcoin, they do not understand the possibility here of maybe this being a low, and especially with last week's price action, also this being a higher low right there. And now the question is it a 1, 2, 3, right? A double 1, 2, and then 3, or is it a ABC? It could be an ABC, right? Form another lower high, 1, 2, 1, 2, and break down, of course, in the next coming days. Setups and scenarios are provided inside of the trading community. I know a lot of people want lots of setups. I provided that one on Thursday. Okay, the bounce that we got from $65,900. The setup was shared inside of the trading community, and of course, the devil provided an intraday scalp entry today. getting ready for the levels. Okay, I'll be providing the updates tomorrow. If you are interested, guys, not sure why you're waiting. You have the word access here. You got full on daily updates and possible setups that we are looking for. Okay, and that's what people want. I know a lot of people want that. Thanks, keeping it under 3%, Vincent. Okay, nice to see that you're actually managing your risk right there. I'm just a little bit aware for the bullish case scenario, right? Just aware of the bullish possibility. But a pullback is very much expected here. Okay, in this zone, I would say that there is very high probability in getting a pullback first, then either claiming $72,000 from here. You're likely, if you claim the highs or get to the point of control value area high, there's higher probability in getting exhausted here and getting a pullback, right? Will that pullback be a major move down, or will it be a corrective structure? This is what I do not know. I give a chance to both scenarios. If we end up forming a corrective structure, right? Boom, 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 bam, right? And you can see that three-wave move, that bull flag formation. I will be looking for longs, and I will be suggesting a long that I'm looking for if we have that detection, right? I would say, guys, you know what? I'm actually entering a long position. If I find it and I can provide it nicely, the levels with confluence. I will say, because you know what? There's actually a good day trade long position to take out the local highs, and even hold a position maybe to go to 76k plus. Because I will understand the potential, right, of a 1-2-1-2, right? It will provide a TP1 and a target 2-3-to-1 risk reward. But overall, I would say, this is a TP1. I'm leaving some open position protected. If we can detect that, well, I know not if we can detect it, we will detect it if the chart gives us that information, and we will detect the setup naturally. So anyway, Vincent, much love to you. Glad that you're managing risk. I would say that there is a good chance that we're going to get a pullback here. Okay, in this zone before taking out 72k. There is a good chance of getting the choppiness and the rejection from this zone. Very, very good chance. If that rejection is going to be powerful in the coming days, then obviously you're in a good position. If the pullback is going to be rangy and corrective, I would be in doubt of my short position here at 69.2. I would really I would personally close the position, understanding that this is looking bullish, because the movement down is looking corrective. Much love, Vincent. Tomorrow CME gap, entering the double top. Where would stop be? This if I end, the double top entry is as so. You literally create that movement here on the 5-minute time frame. What, even the 3-minute time frame doesn't really matter. You wick above the highs, and naturally, as soon as price action gets back beneath that low, that's where the execution is. Okay, this is literally the entry. Obviously, you get that pullback. I would be looking for a deeper pullback. Now, the overall question would be, do you form a corrective structure here? Like the movement down is not providing power. If you go sideways, you're probably going to take out this high, right? If it's choppy, you may, you're probably going to take out the highs. If you start forming this range, right, and you get this price action, you're probably going to take out the highs. So that's the moment to understand, okay, this trade, you want to collect a bit of profits, but I'm going to, if you form a flaggy, rangy structure, then I understand that, you know, this short position is probably not going to work out, right? So instead of getting stopped out at a loss, I would protect position. If we get this price action, then it's not good. If you do get the price action, which is moving down very, very aggressively, boom, corrective move up, then you know you're in a good position, right? Big rejection, corrective staircase to the upside, a bit of a flaggy situation. That's where you're protecting position anyway, regardless if you get that move down. Well, this would be the moment of excitement, right? This might be the chance for the reversal if the rejection is steep and then the bounce is choppy. Then that's where you know that you're likely going to roll over. The problem is here right now, of course, you got a steep move to the upside and you got a very choppy range, which naturally is going to bring that push to the upside. So you want that inverted, basically, a strong rejection and a weak bounce to be confident. Maybe there'll be another short opportunity in this zone here if you form this kind of bearish flag formation, right? It's all about detecting the 3-wave and overlapping the pivot higher low right there. Understanding, right? If you have a 4 and a 5, then that's different. Then that's impulsive. But if you do form a 3-wave structure and you overlap the higher low, then you understand that this is likely a correction, right? Anyway, let's go through the comment section. But somebody asking about where would you put your stop loss. When we trade a double top, double bottom, and the trade that I talked about last week, which was this one right over here, I was mainly focusing on this pivot, right? The last higher low, which is also in confluence with the 7/8 Fibonacci from the low to the high. Okay, that was my main. I didn't manage to catch the ultimate low here. When you see my trade execution and we zoom in onto the execution here, you can see how the entry is just round about the wick, because the price action, I get the wick, okay, and then the price needs to get above it. So my original stop loss, of course, I'm decreasing risk here, is beneath the wick, okay? And that's where, I put the stop loss. So I need that wick, okay? In this case, if it's not a double bottom, but just to give you the example, the long execution is here and the stop loss is beneath the wick. So you need that price action to get back above. I'm not longing as we cross the level. So if price, as explained here, it's super important, guys, because I do get it that there's a lot of new people. I know there's a lot of people that have been watching the channel for years now, and some people are very experienced and they know how to get into a double top, right? Into a swing failure pattern. But some people if you get into the short trade on a double top where you're putting your stop loss, the rejection wick is your stop loss. That's your entry and that's your stop loss above the local highs. So yeah, I mean, this is the difficult thing about YouTube, people that are watching. There's some very experienced traders, some people that use completely different things to analyze the charts, and some people that are very new. And I obviously want to help the people that are more new or even advanced, right? Just share them my way of analyzing the chart and levels and how I execute my trades. Because it works for me anyway. If it works for me, it can work for you. CVD, yeah, CVD is it looks like CVD is very, very bullish. It does look like we want to take those local highs. It does really look like it. because we got a lot of shorts entering on Bybit, and they're not doing a great job. Looking at the delta, it's at minus 14 million, so 14 million shorts here on the delta compared to 3 million longs. You know, and they're not making a great job. They're not pushing the price down, which is concerning, of course. You know, I would say there's a good chance that those highs are going to be taken. Very, very good chance, based on bullish CVD divergence, and of course now hitting the almost hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci. 0.88 Fibonacci is a rare target for a wave 2. I mean, of course you can continue a corrective range here, but ultimately if 0.88 is hit, it's likely something corrective, because a wave 2, in the bearish case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, you form an impulse down. It is very, very rare to hit the 0.88. However, it is common for a B wave or a wave X, okay, to hit the 0.88. So it doesn't mean that hit the 0.88 you need to take out the high straight away. You can form a larger corrective range and then take out the high. You know, it will just increase the probabilities to take out the high if you hit the 0.88, because hitting the 0.88 from a major wave, you know, is very, very common. More common, of course, for a wave B or a wave X or something, you know, something corrective, not a wave 2. So you understand that moving down in an impulse down here is would be unlikely after hitting the 0.88, which hasn't been hit. It hasn't been hit. Anyway, volume decreasing though. Yes, volume decreasing. Also, Legends halfway to 200 likes. Halfway? You must be joking. 100 likes? Halfway to 200. Oh, okay. I thought, yeah, my bad. Let's try and get to 200 likes, guys. 360 people watching, smashing up the like button. Thank you very much, guys, for the support. Let me just take a drink of water here. Go around the table. As I do so, do us a favor, smash up the like button. I will try and go through some comments right now and answer some questions or analyze another crypto maybe. I know a lot of people don't like me to take a look at other cryptos, but I'll be going through the comment section right away, guys. Thank you very much for the support. Smash it up. I want to know who is long on Bitcoin. Shorts are looking attractive. I would want to see that high or the 7-8 or this level, and those are the only levels that I need to see a rejection on the price so I can execute a trade with a good stop loss above the wick. Okay, it's the shorting plan. That's my shorting plan. Let me know in the comment section. Are you shorting already? Are you longing up here? Are you in a long already? Right? Such as myself from last week, of course. I do get the people that want to get into many trades, right? They want to, because they want to increase their account, which is normal. When you have big funds, of course, it's you know, trading becomes a little bit more easier, because you're not worried of getting stopped out at break even, leaving some on the table. You know, it's more chilled. But let me know if you are long. If you are inside of the trading community, you're very much likely still in that long position that was given last Thursday. This was 4 days ago, basically, which has been a nice pump at the moment of $5,000 in the last 4 or 5 days. Almost. More like 4,200. Man, volatility is low. Anyway, much love. I'm in a schlong. Yes, sir. Same here. Same here in that swing short, which this swing short position, I you know, in the last few days, I was worried about this swing short, considering the bullish case. Even though we've talked more about the bullish case scenario, which is that leading diagonal. I need to give a shout out to Joy, because I remember Joy inside of the trading community last month, beginning of last month, he was talking about this leading diagonal when we were trading somewhere here, or somewhere here, I think. And I was like, man, I'm not considering it at the moment, but damn, you know, we do have a leading diagonal potential, wave 1 or wave 8, right? That means that we would be looking to take out the highs at 76k in the coming weeks. And because we already got a major pullback into major support, which is the value area low of the entire trading zone, I'm like, you know, I want to look for longs down here. I missed this long here, this wick, which was very good, that we talked about on a stream a Friday 2 weeks ago. So not previous Friday, the other one. And last Thursday, you know, this was the chance for a higher low here. This was definitely the chance for that long trade. So I'm like, yeah, you know, if this is a wave 1 or A and this is a wave or possible wave 2 or B, you know, I lost my chance here. Then we got the move up for a possible wave 1 and a wave 2 and a flat, or a sharp zigzag. Doesn't really matter, you know, both scenarios were valid. This is the point to long, right? If you didn't long the wick low here naturally. So I was only mainly swing short, so no swing longs taken throughout the last, you know, 10 days. I had no intention of longing. I'm leaning more bearish. I still am on the higher time frame. This is why I still remain, you know, in a significant swing short from here. But this is the beauty as well of swing trading, right? More swing trading, if you know, short from the highs, long from the lows, you know, where you can't be in a better position, right? You're scratching a bit of profits on both sides. And you know, yeah, this was such a good intraday long, and at the same time I took this as a day trade, and I had to take it as a swing long as well. It had to be taken as a swing also. You know, the amount of support down here, and considering Elliott Wave theory, is, you know, it's just a no-brainer for me. Like, you know, this is a swing long territory without a doubt, considering the diagonal, which is not great. It's not too common, but you know, you got the 3-wave structure down into support, choppiness. You know, we talk about this a lot, right? If you do not get into the short, right? If you form an impulse down, boom, 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 right, in a diagonal or a regular impulse, right, with your wave 3, if you do not short the 3-wave ABC, right, say at the golden pocket, or there's a point of control, right, order block or whatever, if you don't short that pivot, which is hard, is, you know, I have to say it's hard. You need to have your levels and your plan ready. Where you're looking for a short is when you have a potential impulse down and a corrective move. If you don't short from here, you're looking to short here for either the wave 3 or the wave C or the another 1, 2, and then you break down, right? And this is literally the same thing but inverted, right? If I understand there's a 5-wave move up here in a diagonal, which is not great, but I have the 3-wave down, and we're looking at the lower time frames here to detect that 4-5. I didn't get in because this was like at 2 a.m. in the morning or something for me. You know, it was late night. I didn't manage to catch that level. So with the information given in the next few days, you know, we realized that, you know, maybe this is a wave 1, 2, or wave A and B, and you know, we could take out those highs, and that's the movement that I'm interested in. And I would, not only that, I would still even consider, you know, leaving a significant chunk open because especially I would be happy to add to this long position if the price corrects down here, because if you form that choppy correction in the next few days, I'll be like, holy smokes, you know, I'll be adding to this long position without a doubt if we can detect that correction, because, you know, wave 3 breakout, right? I think a lot of people would not expect the price getting above 76k, you know, in the next week or so, right? 1 to 2 weeks. I wouldn't expect it, but I know it's possible, and if we correct down here in the next few days, I might be flipping bullish, guys. I might be flipping bullish to claim 76k plus. So, you know, new information is super important, right, for the position. So yeah. Comment section time. Devil, shout out to you, my man. Much love. Devil was here. Also schlonging. So close to 200 likes, legends. A trader, thanks for the support, my man. Much love to you. I think one can feel chilled about trading when one has a good trading skill. The skill is what's protecting the capital, not the amount of capital, I'd say. Victoria. I mean, absolutely. I'm not the best at technical analysis. I don't have incredible trading strategies. They are relatively normal. What I have good is trade execution, trade management, risk management. This is something that you develop. Every person is different. Every person is different. So every person trades, you know, has a different execution, has different management. But this is something that is very personal. You need to really work hard on perfecting that. And, you know, as I said, you know, if we do not double top, I will not short, right? And there's probably going to be people, well, I know there is people eventually, that if the price takes the high, people will already get into a short here, expecting a double top. And that maybe they won't have a stop loss. And they'll say, well, let's wait for the rejection, or I'll add to my position up here. We need people like that, because, you know, this is a zero-sum game, right? You know, people need to lose so I can win. It's you know, you need people that trade that has bad execution, has bad management, so I can win. Right? It's just it's sad, but that is the reality. And I'm not the best at TA, right? I don't have incredible. My TA skills are okay, I would say. They're good. I have a lot of knowledge, but the execution and the management is where I, you know, is where I have the better skill, of course. Tomorrow, new moon, maybe dump 7 April. Yeah, this moon thing is also very interesting, right? Full moon is bullish, new moon is bearish. Trump using Truth Social last post. We are approaching to a shorting zone. Very true, Biren. Very true. We are approaching a shorting zone. I've explained a little bit of how I'm looking to execute this short. Okay, we're going to stick around here for a little bit longer, because I would expect those highs. Very, very grinding structure here to the upside, and you know, we could expect a pop, unless this is very, very disturbing price action here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we could label this as a wave 4, unless this is multiple 1-2s. I mean, this is what's disturbing about the lower time frame. Unless this is multiple 1-2s, and you break out in a larger wave 3, and then you form your 4-5s into the better resistance zone. So you might not double top and create a spike with increasing volume. And if you maintain above this high, I'm not interested in the short. However, you could label this, because you don't have any overlap here to here. I would really consider the double top. I think it's very much available. If I can label this as a wave 4. There's a little correction right there, which is not overlapping your wave 1. So that's a double top is valid. Double top from the highs here is very, very much valid, because I can count an impulse that could be coming to its end stages here with that wave 5. So I will consider the double top. If we would have overlapped here, I would be a little bit skeptical because of the multiple 1-2s. You break out in a wave 3, it really pops out $1,000. But because this pullback did not overlap this pivot, I can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you double top, right? So I like that price action. I like this information because it's giving me the possibility of a wave 5, right? To just take out the highs, create that wick, and then the pullback. If it breaks with increasing volume, I would consider that we are forming multiple 1-2s here. And then naturally we want to see that exhaustion, similar pattern, right, after the big volume breakout into the bigger levels of resistance to form that 4-5, right, which is really the $70,900 value area high, point of control of this mini range. I mean, that's really the highest confluence zone that we do have. There's a 6-hour order block as well. That would be the best zone to get the exhaustion, a bit of a rangy structure, based on what I explained right over here on the lower time frame, right? If this were to be multiple 1-2s. So let's see. To the moon, yo brother, how are you doing, my man? Much love, nice to see you around. Definitely not a new moon tomorrow. Hey Bitcoin sensors, what's wrong with you? Lol, 78, 84, 86 will come. I mean, it's not about if it will. It will eventually come at some point, right? Sky's the limit for Bitcoin. 78k, 84, 86k will come. It will come for sure. That I have no doubt. It will come for sure, right? Regardless if it's going to be with this push up or if it's going to be later on, throughout the next few months. There's no doubt about it that the 86, 84k will come. Are you going to long BTC? I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on Bitcoin. From last week, we had a major long position execution at 65.9k. It was provided inside of the trading community. Okay, very, very good long position, I have to say. On the swing trading account, also in that long position. Already long, okay. Long in here, into resistance. I'm more interested in a short execution that has been explained at the beginning of stream. I've explained my strategy and how I will execute this. We might get this live on stream. I'm just waiting patiently for those highs to be taken. Let's see how we hit those highs, and I will look to get into this potential day trade short entry. Depending on the reaction, if it breaks, it breaks. And then we look, of course, at the other levels of resistance. Let me just point out here the 7/8 Fibonacci, which is also a major level. And then we have it on the chart. That's the 7/8 Fibonacci at 70,460. Highs are about to be taken. Get ready for that possible execution here. Just about to take out those highs. Do we break them or do we wick them? That is the question. Much love to everybody. Let's go. Trump speech soon. Say had a big pullback in the recent weeks. Can you take a look at it? We can take a look at it. Shall we take a look at it on altcoin, guys? We should do a vote here. Or do we stick with Bitcoin? We had a good level. Do we break the highs or do we double top? That is what we're looking at the moment. Much love to everybody. Devil was here. Would be great to catch the trade live. Absolutely. I know you did execute a trade live. Trump speech soon. We are just about to take out those highs. Looks like we're going to take them right away. I want to see a nice wick. That's what I want to see, a nice wick above the level. We're just right there at the moment. Boom. Out. No rejection. 7.8 is still slightly higher. Still above the level. Could be it. This could be it. Now rejecting. I want to see a good rejection now in the next couple of minutes. We're trading above it at the moment, which is not good. Can it get the rejection? Valid is for me, it's valid. Stop loss at the high. I want to see the price action rejecting in the next coming minutes. If we are going to start dancing and flapping around, okay, at the highs, I would want to get out of that position. We shall see. We shall see. I would allow the price action to trade ever so slightly above it in the next coming minutes, but not dance around. If the price does this and starts ranging on the rejection here, it's not going to be too great. And it's a tiny stop loss. If the price does not reject here successfully and it gets a shallow pullback and it breaks out with, with higher volume, of course, which is very possible if this were to be multiple 1-2s and breaks out with high volume, I would want to see the the high volume breakout. Basically, I wouldn't be I wouldn't like try and short, right? If we don't reject from here, I would personally be happy to get stopped out on this. And if it breaks out wait for the high volume breakout, and then wait for the little pullbacks, okay, and you know, little double triple tops in this zone based on the possibility of multiple 1-2s here, right? Get the steep move up with high volume, and then get the exhaustion, this price action, into the level of resistance, which, I mean, the main one is the value area high and the point of control at $70,900. So not a bad zone, but this is definitely a zone that I'm more interested in a pullback here in the next coming hours, right, between today and tomorrow. It's just based on the information that we have, it just looks better for that pullback to happen in this zone. So anyway, let's go through comment section. The proper swing short zone is 108 to 112k level, not here. Oh man, this is a day trade short. Swing short was already from a couple of weeks ago. This is swing short. This is swing long. My long position here on the swing trading account is actually a little bit stronger, so I would be more than happy if we were to go to 108k. Holy smokes, where did you come out with those numbers? That would be absolutely awesome. But yeah, this is an intraday short trade setup, okay, for a pullback that can get to at least you know, I would target the the 382 Fibonacci from this low to the high, just as a potential minimum pullback if this turns out to be an impulsive move. Hitting the 382 is kind of a minimum usual target to hit. It's a day trade, right? It's not this short position is a day trade, okay? It's not a swing short. This is day trade short entry, right? It's a 1-to-1 at the moment, so I can, you know, run away right now and decide if I wanted to close, but because it's a, you know, it's a small position for me to take profit, really we would have to get down below 69k, right? Sweep up these higher lows, but it's a day trade. This is a swing short. That's, you know, the 73k level. This locally is only a scalp day trade short, okay? Suspicious in volume, not increasing with this up move. Well, I mean, that's good. That's what you want to see. Preferably this is because we had lots of shorts entering on Bybit, and preferably they've gotten stopped out. So we got the Bybit shorts entering about 30 minutes ago, right? We were showing this on the stream. Like, there's lots of shorts entering here as a lower high, which is good. That means you have bullish CVD divergence, right? You got some major lower lows on the CVD, even if from this new momentum that we had. Lots of shorts entering on Bybit in the last hour for a lower high. So let's stop the Bybit traders out and then look for the double top. And that was the plan, basically. You know, obviously not joining a short early. As explained before, if we would have formed a lower high here and rolled down, you know, I would have missed the short trade. I would have missed this short trade if we would have not taken out the highs. We have a lot of shorts entering here on Bybit, as we do see. I mean, look at the yellow here, insane. I mean, you know, look at the delta here on the footprint. 14 million on the delta. You know, they need to get wicked out, right? Which is the overall plan, to get that wick and wait for the wick and execute the trade. Good risk management. This is a 2-to-1 risk reward already, right? I can, you know, close the position, run away with my money, right? I can put position already to break even, running a free trade at the moment. It might not work out. It might form another corrective move here and take out the high. You know, I would say that I would be happy to execute another trade, you know, because as explained on today's stream, when we have the potential of forming a few 4-5s, the highest volume, the highest price action, not the highest volume, the highest price action was in this move right over here. When I do consider the analysis from the weekend with this price action here, I understand that this movement to the upside either starts from here or from here, because I can't count multiple 1-2s from here. It's not a solid impulse, very rangy, 3 wave up. Also from this pivot low, 3 wavy. I count this move from either one of these 2 lows. So it's either, you know, 1-2, 1-2, small little 1-2 here, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 5, and then down, or another 4 and another 5 and then down. So if it's not down from here, it's potentially down from another local top, or from the you know, the 7-8 Fibonacci. I would say it's valid. And if 7-8 doesn't react and it pushes through it, then the next level is $70,900. It's a good execution. I personally am not going to take any profits, but anybody that took the trade, I mean, it's a movement of $400-500. You can treat it as a scalp. I'm going to treat it as a day trade for a little bit of a longer pullback, because I mean, I'm not too fussy about taking these profits at the moment, because I understand that the pullback can be a little bit steeper. Ideally, in you know, when we are trying to detect the end of an impulse, it is actually common, once the 5th wave is finished, regardless if you have a few 1-2s and a few 4-5s, of course, to sweep up all of the higher lows. And you know, this would be that's where the 382 Fibonacci is. That would be the target that I would like the price to hit for this day trade, you know, short position. Because and I will be happy to get into a new short if I get stopped out at break even, if we double top. If we do not double top, then I'm looking at the 7-8. I mean, 7-8 was almost hit. From this high to the low, we barely missed the 7-8 Fibonacci. But I would be, you know, the thing is, the probabilities for a larger pullback to sweep up these higher lows is very, very high, based on the 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Regardless if you have another 1-2 here and you form another 4-5, what is common as a target zone when you detect the 5th wave is to sweep up the higher lows of the 4th wave. This is your main target area, right? When I show you the textbook trading patterns on Elliott Wave theory, just as the basics, it is common for the retracement when you detect that fifth wave, regardless, as explained, if you have a few 1-2s, right, and then you have a few 4-5s to finish your fifth wave, it is common for the pullback to get below the fourth wave. It might be an ABC, it might be the top and we roll over from here. I don't know. I know there is the possibility of the price ending something here, and then we like really roll down in the next coming days. We get a corrective bounce later on that will be bearish naturally. But if I didn't short here, then I would have to look for a short on the corrective flag, right, in the next coming days, if the move is aggressive. And as explained, you either detect the end of the fifth wave, which in this case could be an ABC. You can fit a WXY here. I mean, this price action is like really messy, but it doesn't matter. It's a three-wave structure. If you don't detect the end of the third wave in that impulse, 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, if you don't detect the end and the price, you know, gets a major dump in the next couple of days, the pullback, you know, it has to be your entry. But this is going to take a few days to form, of course, right? If it is, you know, you need that information. But there's only I only know those two ways of getting into a trade. It's either double tops on the 4-5s or hitting a major level of resistance and detecting the potential end of an impulse. This end of an impulse, there's two options. Will it be a 1 2 1 2, we correct down and then we rally? I don't know. How come you don't know? Because we need a corrective structure here, right? Then I would say, yeah, this looks bullish. This might be an ABC. This might be A, B, and C. Three-wave structure. We're in a downtrend overall. If we were to move down very aggressively in an impulse between today and tomorrow, then, you know, we understand that it's looking bearish, guys, right? You know, we're probably going to bounce in a correction and then, you know, maybe look for a short in the next few days again. Anyway, not a bad idea to collect some profits. I mean, the movement has been $700-800. Yeah, very good. Very good execution on that double top. The double top was valid. You know, when you look at the risk to reward of this short trade that has been provided here on stream, I mean, you're already making it. It's already a 3-to-1 risk to reward at least. This trade cannot turn into a losing trade. Never, ever. This trade is protected. Some profits can be collected. Matter of fact, I'm going to scratch a bit just for the sake of it. Very good execution, double top. Stop loss was above the high. Now it's at break even. Some profits have been collected. Next profit zone would be sweeping up all of these higher lows of today, would be ideal. And I will leave a little bit of a position open so I can you know, have a little bit of a swing short here in this case, you know, just in case. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad zone to leave some open. It's not a bad zone to leave some open. I mean, depending on how you took this trade. And the main reason why is because if this is the end of a correction, looking at the 4-hour time frame, I know that this can be a wave 1 and this can be a wave 2. And this another wave 1 and this another wave 2 right there. And because we are looking for 3-wave corrective structures in a wave 2, for the moment, if you want to try and catch the high, right, such as this trade given on the live stream, you know, this is a 3-wave move up for the moment. This could be the end of that third wave in that impulse. You know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a few 1, 2s, a few 4, 5s. Not a bad idea to leave some open, I would say. You know, you can scratch 50% and leave 50% for a swing short, being defensive, right? Because it has the potential. I know this long trade, you know, the long trade that I got in here last week, which it's a bit of a bummer right now because nobody cares about that swing long, right? Nobody cares about that day trade long. But I was saying, you know, I'm going to leave some open because if this wasn't the low and we do create a new local double bottom, I would be happy to re-enter this long trade, the same as this short trade. If we hit the highs, and we break out, you know, it's just increasing volume and there's no reaction where I can put a stop loss. There's no short that I can get in here. I would be more than happy if the price explodes out because I'm already in a long. But if it double tops just like we did here, you know, I'm happy for a triple top here or a quadruple top. You know, I'm happy for another wick up because the biggest move happened here. So I will attempt another short execution here with the same type of risk management. The wick is my stop loss. The wick is the stop loss. And one of them is going to get that breakdown and sweep up all of the higher lows, and you will turn that into a 5-to-1, 6-to-1 risk reward, because the general target here is sweeping up the higher lows after the big push up. It's a very, very common zone to hit, regardless of how many highs you hit right here. But you got a short execution here, you got a short execution here, and you know, maybe that's the one. Trump is live. Oh, he might pump the price. I love you, Andy. Amazing entry. Much love to you, Alex. Thank you very much for the kind words. Nice trade, bro. Not bad. Not bad entry. It would make sense to collect. You know, if this is going to turn into a corrective structure right now, I mean, what we would want to see here is a very, very choppy bounce. Very, very choppy bounce, which would obviously favor that move to the downside. But we don't know if that's going to be the case. So price is already getting a little bit of a stop here. I'm not sure if it is at no major levels. If price gets a bounce here and then comes down and then gets another bounce, you know, then you know that this short trade is not looking very good. If you form a 3-wave down here, you still form a higher low, and you get the price action overlapping here, then you know that you want to collect most of the profits because you're likely going to take out the high as this looks corrective. That's only if you form this price action, of course. Hopefully the price does go down from here. Ultimate TP zone here would be these higher lows. This would be the most common area, which is almost where the 382 Fibonacci is from the lows to the highs. Yeah, around about this zone would be the ideal target zone. 68.9k. But still, I mean, when you have such a good trade execution and you're already making a 3-to-1 risk reward, right? Getting into trades where you have a 10-to-1 risk reward is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. I don't usually get into 10-to-1 risk reward trades. When we are doing swing trades, it's I do take significant profits already on the first leg to the down, in this case to the downside, right? You know, I'm already happy to collect some profits, and naturally holding the rest of the position would be, you know, 40% of the position, 50%, right, of already collected profits. So making a 10-15 to 1 risk reward when we're trading is unrealistic, right? 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. They're realistic targets, right? Much love to everybody. Simpson pattern for the next days. Bart Simpson pattern, very much a possibility. Why not? Bart Simpson pattern, where you have the move up, you got the hair right there, and then the move down. Bart Simpson pattern is very much a Bitcoin pattern right there. Not too great with the Bart Simpson. Oh my God, what's that? Not very good at drawing, as you can see. Trump is speaking. Right, maybe somebody else is. I'm not going to put the Trump speech, but hopefully not the greatest news. Very great short execution. Let me know if you did execute this trade. Volatility, maybe. I mean, it would be the perfect moment for a big fat dump. What can we say? If this is going to be a three-wave corrective structure coming to its end stages after this impulse down for a lower high, it's like the perfect moment for bad news, right? We would say to really dump the price from here, because technically we have a possibility of a completed three-wave corrective structure. Bullish case scenario would be 1-2, 1-2. If we correct down here to choppiness in the next coming days, it might be very bullish. Let me know, anybody that joined me in this short live trade, which has been an absolute banger at the moment, making a 4-to-1 risk reward. If you followed the instructions, stop loss above the wick high, execution on the rejection, managing risk very well, and this could turn into a very good short trade. Let me know in the comment section if anybody joined the setup that I got into. Garbage coming out of his mouth should trigger the bears. Maybe. Thank you, Trump, for the drop. Yeah, thank you, Trump, for the drop, not the technical analysis, right? The drop potential here for a double top was very valid. Maybe Trump is just gonna help the trade, let's say, right? But yeah, let me know. Yes, entry at 70,225. Absolutely awesome. Now it's all about the management, guys. Everybody is free to collect some profits, you know, stop loss. I like to protect position obviously at this stage, even though with the movement down that we already had, I already considered the protection of the position. Stop loss to break even, some profits collected. Now it's all about the management. Okay. I would be more than happy here to leave a decent chunk open on this trade, giving a chance for the bears. I mean, as soon as we sweep those higher lows at 68.8k, I would consider this as a good TP2 zone. Take a large chunk out. As explained, if we do kind of correct here, we form a higher low, right, and we move up to the highs again, I'm gonna still remain with the same plan. Double top, 7/8 Fibonacci, which is slightly above, or the point of control of the of this mini range, right, as you can see, and which is with the value area high of the entire range of the last few weeks. Okay, took last couple of months at this point. Would be my next execution if we did break above the recent highs, right, and we don't double top. Because getting a pullback to sweep up these higher lows is the main target, really, is the main target. Anyway, much love, guys. Great to have a live setup. We did say that we might get this live, and we did get it live. You can see the patience, the execution, the risk management, and that's all what you need to see. All what you need to see. Much love to everybody. Devil, did you take the short trade too? I'm not sure if Devil's around, but maybe he did. Maybe he did. We'll check in the trading community as well. Devil in the morning with the live trade, and Andy in the evening legends. Much love. Much love. Yeah, we don't always get not very common that we get a live execution for a setup on a live stream, but today was it was good. We like the price action, we like the level, and yes, I did, says Devil. Devil is a legend. Of course he did take the trade. Paz Maria Vallejos, it's amazing to have both legends live morning and afternoon every day. I feel so grateful. Thank you, Andy and Devil. Paz Maria, much love to you. Anybody that took the trade, make sure to collect some profits. I'm going to wrap it up. It's been a good trade. I'll leave some open. I would say that TP2 would be sweeping up. These higher lows would be ideal. It is common to get down there. Not much more to say. I'll be analyzing inside of the trading community by tomorrow, I would say. If we don't bounce up and claim the highs, is the movement down going to be an impulse, or is it going to be corrective? Because if it is corrective, we will be looking for the bounce. If it is an impulse, we would be looking for the bounce for another new short position potentially. This naturally will be formed in the next 24 to 48 hours if that is the case, and the trading community will be updated with the latest analysis and latest possibility setups that we can detect, such as myself and Devil. And if you are interested in that, make sure to join. Send me the word access, guys. You have the opportunity to get a few months for free at the moment, which is just signing up throughout one of the affiliates. You can choose Bluffin, 2bit, Velto, BTCC is also an option, and you get a few months for free. Do a minimum deposit, of course, for your own trading and get in the trading community. The long setup that I got into last week was provided in the trading community, and of course this recent short execution was provided on the live stream. So let's see if we do get a bit more of a pullback down. I'm happy to collect a bit of more profits just in case we do form a 4-5 here, another 4-5, which would be cheeky, just because we could have a few cheeky 1-2s right there, 1-2 1-2, and a few 1-2s here that could ruin the party of the short. So movement down of $1,000 is good on Bitcoin for a day trade. It's very much a valid move for a bit of profits. And let's see if we do find another trade setup. I would say by tomorrow. I'm not interested in longs here. I want to see a decent corrective pullback here that is detected. If this were to be a 1-2 1-2, right, we need a lot of information here for the new high probability setup for a long, and if not, it might just dump down, guys. Maybe it is a corrective structure, and things are going to really roll over from here. We don't know. What we do know is the execution and the opportunities, and that's what we do. And if we're not on YouTube, we are eventually inside of the trading community. Bullish CVDs, Bybit, US dollar tether. Andy, Chichan, much love. I joined today. Tahata, much love. Just send me the DM and I'll share the instructions. Bullish CVDs, bearish CVDs, you mean, right? Someone said bullish CVDs. Bullish CVDs. Yeah, on Bybit US dollar tether, it is true that there's been some shorts. We do have some higher lows from the price action of a few hours ago. However, Bybit bros are longing like crazy here. Lots of longs entering on Bybit. That's US dollar perpetual. And something that has to be said about CVD divergence. The CVD that is created with new fresh price action has priority from any CVDs that has been created in the previous price action. That said, from the last few hours, this is a low, and the higher lows, even though you have bullish CVDs with lower lows on the CVD, if you create locally higher highs on the CVD and lower highs on price action, these new ones have priority. Okay, so it's all new information is the most important, always, right? New information with Elliott Wave or with CVD or whatever, right? New information. So these bullish CVDs is a little bit of old information, right? It's it could still naturally it's still there, obviously. It's still there naturally, but something that you want to consider, right? Much love to everybody. Thanks for joining today's stream. Gracias, Moro Kayak. Where do you get the CVD and footprint data? CVD, aggr.trade. Of course, we have different templates for it. We actually, getting our own CVD templates with lots of information. The delta, the footprint is for ExoChart. ExoChart is where you get footprint, but the ExoChart is $30 a month, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check that. I get the longer subscriptions, of course. But yeah, much love to everybody. Anybody that took the short, collect some profits, be defensive. We'll look to find another setup tomorrow inside of the trading community, if not live on YouTube. But of course, it really depends with the information that we've got. Much love, Ash. Smash up the like button, guys, if you enjoyed the live stream today, and make sure to leave a comment after the stream to help support the channel if you want to see myself and Devil continue here with the education, with the setups, and make you a better trader. Much love, everybody. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.